Over the course of a year and a half, I have reviewed around 80 watches. Some were bad, some were decent, most of them were good. By now I have enough experience to be able to appraise a watch even before opening the parcel, and only a handful of timepieces have really surprised me. This one though, well, this one's special. This is the best watch I've reviewed so far. This is Feynman One. Just a couple of reviews ago, I was praising microbrands for their ability to make the most out of their limited budgets, to the extent that just by changing a dial or applying a bezel to an already built case, they can create variations that help covering the upfront costs that shackle creativity. Well, this is not what Feynman are doing. This, let's call it update, of their critically acclaimed sold-out first timepiece is a different watch altogether and a convincing show of maturity from a brand that's worth keeping an eye on. And while the dial has kept the overall theme of the first model while refining it into a less modern approach, the case is not only completely reworked, but makes this timepiece stand out in a way no other microbrand watch at this price point does. The two striking features of this case are obviously its lugs and the 2-volume truncated cone profile. Feynman calls the lugs a tear-shaped design, but to me they look like Kari Voutilainen's modern take on the legendary corne de vache design of Vacheron Constantin. Just like in the case of the watches produced by those fabled manufacturers, these are lugs that are welded to the case and then finished to a seamless fit, and their classic yet modern, natural yet aggressive profile looks like a solid foundation for the rest of the case. The watch seems to grip on the wrist, illusion further enhanced by the spectacular downturn. The case might be a 2-volume concept, but the way the base is constructed creates the illusion of 3 compartments divided by thin rings when looked at from the profile. Elevating the observation point, the perspective changes, as now the lower volume combines in a single layer with the lugs as a base for a modular construction where the aggressively tapered second volume seems to be added on top. Finally, looked at from above, the case forms a dynamic bezel that has the perfect proportions to frame the dial. Unfortunately, any watch needs to have a crown, and while an automatic or a quartz can afford one the luxury of recessing it into the case, this is a manual wind ETA 7001 powered watch, so the crown has to protrude. Furthermore, Feynman's trademark placement of the small seconds dial at 7 means shifting the caliber inside, leading to the crown being positioned at 4. Feynman have done everything in their power to conceal the crown, but this to me is the only blemish on a perfect case. And this one's for the fit and finish section, but I want to make it clear avant la lettre. Despite what other reviewers whose fingers are definitely thinner than mine had to say, this crown is easy to use both when setting the time and when winding the watch. Moving on to the dial, I believe it's worth noting this is one of Feynman's Galaxy models within the Feynman One range. They stand out through their use of exotic materials and Breguet-style numerals instead of baton markers. Speaking of the numerals, they are applied onto an intricate guilloche patterned ring, and they're surrounded by a railroad-style mini-track punctuated by modern font numerals every 5 minutes. Cutting into the guilloche platform, there's a satin ring that hosts the discreet Feynman branding and surrounds the trademark seconds hand sweeping across the recessed aventuring surface that makes for the majority of the dial's estate, meeting painted markers every 5 seconds. Finally, the hands are as original as they come, skeletonized arrow-shaped construction that, of course, have perfect dimensions. As previously mentioned, one of the strengths of this watch is the top-grade ETA 7001 caliber powering it. The 3 Hz manual wind movement is well known for its very thin frame, and I feel this is relevant for Feynman's approach and vision. Instead of going for the thinnest watch they could possibly manufacture, they stayed true to their artistic vision and built a case that could have housed 2 such calibers stacked atop each other. And this goes on to prove they have chosen this caliber primarily for its prestige, precision, and build quality. This doesn't mean they don't want to take advantage of the caliber's thinness, as their next model will be under 9mm tall. Not only that, but it will be the first Feynman on a bracelet, and I hope that doesn't mean they will stop offering leather straps of the quality of the ones this watch comes with. This is a genuine lizard strap whose luxurious feel might only be bettered by its sturdiness. The full-grain hand-stitched leather is complemented beautifully by custom signed hardware that replicates the luxe design. There is an adequate amount of anti-reflective compound applied under the sapphire crystal, and the base of the dial shows not all aventurine is created equal, with the delicate flaking of this dial giving it just the discreet, non-showy presence a dress watch should have, as opposed to the bling less refined watches try to compensate by. Perhaps the greatest trick this watch manages to pull is making a fully mirror-polished construction look understated. The quality is flawless, and the best measuring stick for fit is analyzing the way the lugs are welded to the case, and the quality of the finish is showcased by how seamlessly they integrate. As for the dial, the transitions are precise, the cuts are sharp, the paint job is flawless. On my 19cm wrist, the watch wears pretty close to the minimum of what I'd consider a good fit, so 20cm might just be the maximum diameter for wrist that could pull this watch off. Going small, however, is absolutely no problem, as this watch could, in my opinion, be worn on wrists smaller than the 6-inch one pictured here. This makes the Feynman One the first unisex watch I feature on the channel, and this gives it enormous versatility. Even men could wear this watch on less formal occasions, as the rather understated nature of the watch means it won't stand out like a sore thumb when worn with jeans and a t-shirt. One not so desirable consequence of the skeletonized hands against the dark background is the impact they have on legibility in less than ideal light intensity and angle. One other aspect potential buyers have to take into consideration is the caliber that doesn't hack and needs manual winding. This must be the worst kept secret. Singapore microbrands are killing. The amount of outstanding micros the small city-country has given to the world is staggering, and Feynman's focus on dressier, more sophisticated designs places them in the select club of brands that set out to prove the Lion City is more than the affordable diverse factory many watch enthusiasts take it for. Besides the well-structured own website, Feynman watches can be purchased on Singapore and Hong Kong brick-and-mortar and virtual stores such as Red Army, Dragon Corner, or Watchrobe. As a Feynman One can be bought for prices between $1,200 and $1,400 depending on the variant, US customers should take note there will be taxes to be paid, while this is nothing new for worldwide customers. Not only is this the best watch I've reviewed so far, but it's one of the best watches I've ever handled, in company of timepieces costing 3, 4, 5 times its price. Not one for my budget, and Feynman aren't really aiming it at people living on a salary, but one I can only be happy to have had the chance to experience for a couple of weeks. If you afford it, buy it without hesitation. It's worth every penny and then some. I can only dream of a quartz-powered version with a recessed crown. If you liked this review but find the watch to be too small for your manly wrist, feel free to check a substantially larger, equally impressive Singapore dress watch here, or click here if you want to discover 5 absurdly affordable watches. Thank you for watching. See you soon.